wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. Hope he dies. Hope he dies of syphilis. Piece of shit.
I almost missed a great one. All right, I have this very important. Then I gotta go shower and get on with my day, which just involves some more yelling at the internet, and maybe go to the gym. Comment here, and I'm gonna save you guys some time. These are the lives they want. What does that say of most women's intelligence? I don't think it says anything of intelligence. I think they were brainwashed and hoodwinked. If that's what they want, why is their antidepressant, alcohol use, and obesity rates exploding and self-deletion rates? Wouldn't someone with just common sense want the things that lead them happiness? Who desires choices leading to misery? All right. Here's where a lesson of stoicism is very important. I know a lot of you, well, all you guys, you would like women to invest in you, form relationships, family, children, and all that other stuff. And you logically, innocently and logically say, well, they're miserable. They say they want this. They want X. They get X. They get X in spades. But then you logically, empirically look at the data, say, well, antidepressant use is up, self-deletion is up, depression is up, misery is up, self-reporting polls of happiness is down. And you'd say, well, why would they do that? They should know now. They're going to put on their science smock or thing, get the clipboard and put their glasses on. Aha, see, we were missing. And let me, before I move on, and you logically, innocently, yet ultimately naively say, see, here's the data. Now change. Or like, see, what do we, or if they don't, you say, well, what do we got to do? Say, here's the data. They're miserable. They should know they're not. Now, what do we got to do to get these women? Hold it. It is not your responsibility, women or not, to make people happy. People's happiness is not your responsibility. And this is where your efficacy, this is how, where your sphere of influence ends, and it's now on the other person's court. It's now on the other person's, that the ball's in their court. And I've said this before, what lurks deep in the heart of women, not our concern, because we can't know. All you can do, guys, all you can do, and this goes with anyone, doesn't matter what type of human they are, is react to the actions they put forth in the real world, because that's the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter deep down inside. You know, the girl goes to a nightclub. She could have had any guy she wants. She goes home with none, or takes the phone numbers of home if not, and then cries herself to sleep. And you may say, well, that's crazy. That's weird. Why does it? How do it? No. Not our problem. That's them. That's a them problem. And we could point to the data all day. You know, they cried as in a box of wine and cat, miserable, blah, 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 blah. How do we? Nope. I'm done with the how do we. You can't act on that. Save yourself the pain and agony. Save yourself the frustration. Save yourself the confusion. It doesn't matter. You know, the classic line, what do women want? And the guy says, who cares? You can't know this. And when you start to get to that level where it's like, how do I get another person to think differently? Now you are taking on an obligation and responsibility that is, one, I don't think possible. I don't think there's a way to solve it. But two, it's a huge responsibility. It is going to consume so much time and effort and energy. And ultimately, you're taking away that person's agency when they're the only one that can fix it. And ultimately turning them into a robot where, okay, now I've programmed it. It's a thing. I figured it out. She was just missing this little line of code, and I plugged that in. And now it should, well, I rebooted. Oh, here she is. She's happy now. No, that's their problem, man. How did they get there? Don't know. Don't care. We don't have the time for this shit. How they get homeless on the street, how they get to be a drug addict, how they choose the wrong degree, don't know, don't care, not my problem. And whereas I understand, in part because of self-interest, you guys would like to have a nice, sweet woman in your life, you like them to be nice, or perhaps you're just a good human being. Like, God, I don't like seeing people self-delete and being sad and miserable, being on drugs. Your line that you cross that's not your line. That's not your property over there. You focus on your property. You focus on this, because there's you can't influence anything but what is within your domain and sphere of influence. And I know I could see, well, we just gotta stop doing things for women. Just stop it. I'm not saying don't, you like your wife or your woman. Yeah, okay, do things for them. I'm saying communally, culturally, and this is good. I've dealt with addicts before and all that. Stop trying to help people whose problems you can't solve, whose problems are outside of your control. Look, isn't life stressful? Don't you have enough stuff going on? Food, clothing, shelter, survival, paying your taxes, saving for retirement, getting out of debt. Don't you have enough right now? Do you have the time and energy to figure out something which I personally don't think is figure outable? I think how do I solve someone else's problems? You don't. That's their problem. This is why the addicts, not until they hit bottom and their lives are threatened, do they decide they're going to fix things. And it's the same thing here. How did women get into what is kind of an anti-male, a misandrist is maybe too strong of a word, because that's not where the needle actually is, but certainly an anti-male, antagonistic, contemptual, indifferent, us versus adversarial, maybe. How did they get there? And do they why can't they realize that the cause of their sadness is the lack of real men in their lives, and the solution? I don't know how they got there. I don't know how they can't look and see. I don't know how or why they don't undo their feminist brainwash. I really don't know. And I don't care. I have shit to do. I have a life. That would be almost 100% wasting of my time. It's just like an addict. If the pain is hard enough, if the sadness and the loneliness and the lack of love and whatever, the hole in their gut, if it's painful enough, then they will decide on their own, say, okay, I have been lied to, or I have the wrong information, or what I'm doing isn't working, and I'm going to take it upon myself to figure things out and try something different. Until that happens, there's nothing you can do. And nothing. I mean, you could point out, you could pose theories. You're like, hey, did you ever think that maybe this is, but and again, it's a good thing because it shows you're human. Oh my God, people are in pain. I would like to help them. Don't think you can help them. I don't think it's I don't think you have the ability. I really, the only people that can help people is themselves. And you might have the answer, drug addict, how do I get out? Well, stop doing the heroin, stop doing the booze, stop doing the pot. Whoa, they don't know how to they're not there yet. They don't know how to do that. You have the solution, but until they stop putting the needle in their arm, or stop drinking the booze, or stop drinking the feminism and the man hatred, I don't know, guys. I mean, you got 78 years, 80 if you're lucky on this planet. Do you really want to do this? Do you know how much infrastructural or foundational infrastructure? Do you know how much billions now? I think of it, millions of people, probably billions of hours, trillions of dollars over the year easily with marketing. Do you know how many resources in the form of billions of hours, trillions of dollars have gone into getting women to think this way? Do you think with your mere care as a one man who, not even a romantic or sexual interest, just like a fellow human being, like, geez, you're in pain, why don't you try this? Do you know, just that's like pissing into a hurricane, a fart against a tornado. That's nothing. And it's not going to be you. It's not going to be, just not your responsibility. And if women want to say, okay, I'm miserable. Why am I miserable? Go talk to a therapist. Oh, Oh, they got worse batting averages than the Milwaukee Brewers. But let's say you go down to the figure it out. They go figure it out. They go reevaluate the things and the stuff. Okay, cool. And if they do, then they'll oh, I've made some changes. It's for me. Guys, we got enough problems. It's hard enough to solve your own problems that are within your sphere of influence, let alone someone else's that's outside of your sphere of influence. This is not our job. This is not your responsibility. Just as your happiness is not women's responsibility. A lot of guys are complaining about women, and I get it. All right. But the whole other side to this philosophy, theory, whatever you want to call it, is like, okay, girls don't like you. Get on with it. I mean, the menu, that book I wrote, The Menu, Life Without the Opposite, that's the whole point. Like, hey, we got to get going. And that's a co-ed book. It's for both men and women. Because I've accepted the fact, half the people aren't going to get married. Okay. And of the people that get married, only 28% will be happily so. Those are who are after divorce. The 28% remaining after divorce are forecast to be happily married. Okay, that's it. All right, let's move on. Let's go have some fun now. All right, but it's not women's responsibility to make you happy. You say, oh, okay, well, the fact is women, their sphere of influence is non-participation within the sexes. Okay, well, that's too bad. I wish it was different, but it's not. So this is what it is. Well, we better do something fun before we die, huh, guys? Ladies, I think you should take a little bit of that too, but your happiness is not my responsibility. And if the best choice at the end of the night is to go drink a bottle of wine and cry yourself to sleep, okay. I would say maybe hit the gym or be nice, but get rid of your tattoos and pull the stupid ring out of your nose. Well, I don't need it. You're not going to that's on my sphere of influence. You could shout like there should be a cartoon where you're like in this sphere of a bubble, like a wizard in Dungeons and Dragons has cast a mute spell on you, and you're yelling the answers. You're like yelling the solutions to everyone's problems, but no one can hear you because you're in the sphere of silence. Stop majoring in dumb shit. And all she hears is grow your hair along and get it dressed. He's in. I don't know, go do some more antidepressants. I don't care. And maybe I've just become a real misanthrope and a real dour individual. But after a while, you look at the abyss, you look at this fucking shit show we got going on where the sexes just really do not like each other. It becomes entertaining. It is fascinating to watch. I said it before, like, okay, would it be bad to live in the collapse of the Roman Empire? And you think, yeah, that would be pretty bad. And like, okay, but in the grand history of things, you got to see the collapse of the Roman Empire, which is kind of interesting. Like, well, we all die. And I got to see this. That's interesting. It's a very interesting time. And we've never been here. We've never seen it where the government or technology or the schools or the marketing has convinced one sex to go to war against the other. Just to abandon it, to have like the idea, the philosophy of that all your value is derived from yourself. All value is internally conferred, which is bullshit. That's not how value works. But don't listen. I'm yelling. I'm like, no one hears me. I'm in the sphere of silence. Isn't it fascinating? Isn't this very interesting to watch from a sociological perspective? You get to see it where one sex has been convinced the other sex is not needed. All value is derived from not the opposite sex, because that would be shameful or bad or whatever. And just to watch them essentially flail, well, both, because men and women kind of need each other and we're suffering too. But okay, fine, we'll get on with our lives. We'll go play our video games and move along or whatever. But isn't it fascinating watching the cognitive dissonance and the self-rationalization to the extent and lengths people will go to? No, it's right. What's right? What the pissed off baby boomer spinster told me. She said that I don't need you, and it's the most. When did she tell you that? When I was 14. Okay, have you looked her up now? Have you seen what they? I knew saw. Have you seen them now? They're absolutely miserable. And maybe that's I'm so you see? Oh, you got me monologuing again. Okay. I forgot. See how natural it is? You just want to, dude, the sky is blue. I forgot my sphere of influence. Why did I? Never mind. Guys, just it's I know it's somewhat facetious, funny, haha, but it's also not a joke. If you've ever dealt with someone who's addicted and whatever else, you can't help these people. You risk hurting yourself trying to help others that are beyond help, that are beyond reason. They're not going to listen. Heck, that's not even people. I remember trying to help some people that I actually cared about, and they didn't listen to my advice, and it ended up hurting them, and that hurt. And that was one where that really did push me to misanthropy. That one did. But once you realize it's not okay, by the way, it's not like, oh, it hurt. I was so depressed and sad. It was just kind of like, oh, really? Oh, and yeah, you're going to care about other human beings. It's human. But if you can avoid that pain down, okay, what am I trying to make? I'm not saying don't care about your fellow human beings. All I'm saying is speak your piece and then don't worry about it. There's no reason for you to get stressed out or worry or concerned. It's not worth paying that price. And you got other, and I guess perhaps what it is that men are so biologically hardwired to pursue women and put them at the center of their life. That's perhaps why there'd be a little bit more pain. If it's one thing where, someone I really care about doesn't take my advice and their life gets hurt in the end, right? That kind of sucked, but it wasn't the end all be all. And I mean, look at all this stuff all the hours and time and just trying to get you guys to realize the dynamic has changed so that you can move on. And like, I got a buddy, he's older and he's still like, it's like PTSD. Like he was at war. He's like, I just wish I wasn't lied to. I can't get it out of my head. Why did they do this? I'm like, dude, you got less time than me because you're fat and you don't keep yourself in shape and you're older than me. Your life is too short and precious to be worrying about that, man. You were lied to. You understand why, right? You understand why? You understand why, right? All right, let's move on now, man. We ain't got tickety-tock. We do not have the time to be worrying about people that are the past or stuff that can't be saved, stuff that can't be turned around. Should become, interestingly enough, very selfish, very self-focused, what you want to do. And so, ladies, I'll offer an olive branch. Ladies, when you're done hating us, I know that's a bit much. I understand. But when you're done hating us, when you're done deriving all your value, looking at yourself and your hoo-ha in the mirror, oh my God, I'm a woman. All right. When you're done listening to Taylor Swift and you want to, I don't know, have a little bit of joy and happiness, like, look, it could, you don't even have to, am I yelling my sphere of influence? I am, aren't I? You got me monologuing again. For the 3 women who are listening, it's not like a lifestyle change. All you got to do is do a trial run, a test run. Why don't you give 3 guys a shot? Okay. And not your piss shit half-ass shot that the pissed off baby boomer women told you to. Why don't you just find 3 guys? You don't have to marry any of them. And grow your hair out long, be pretty, be feminine, be nice to 3 guys, go date 3 guys. Okay. You might have to grow your hair out, get rid of the tattoos, remove the metal from your face. Just try it. And if it doesn't work, okay. All right, cool. Then you could go back because it's not working for you. Then you could go back to antidepressant use, master's degrees, cats, reruns of Sex in the City, whatever it is you want to do, that's fine. But just try. And here's the other thing. Again, I'm yelling in my sphere of influence. At least then like the regret, like, well, what if I tried to be a nice girl with long hair and feminine? If you tried that and it didn't work, then you'd know. And at minimum, you'd have no regret, which I think would be a huge improvement. I think that would go a long way in helping fighting this sadness and depression. And it's funny, like, we're not sad, we're not Oh, so come on, guys. Come on. This is entertainment. This is fun. Let's watch the game, man. Oh, so link below. And ladies, if you wanted to, I have link below. I got. You talking? Yeah. Mhm. If you are interested, there's a book I link below called A World Without Men. It might provide some insights between how men and women interact and the dynamics between the two that you might say, oh, I didn't know that. Maybe if I incorporated that in my strategy, it might work. But I don't need your fucking book. She heard that. That went out on my sphere of influence. All right, let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Artful Clone, $5. Oh, I gotta do the super chats. I'm into the miss super chats. I'm just happy to be a stink, single, 3 incomes, no kids. Yeah, but what do you do with it? See, you got to go out and do something with it. Vector Man 64, ready for Cowboy Bebop in theaters tonight. No, what? Now I am. Okay. I think I looked that up before and it's not showing. But thank you very much. I have a to-do item tonight. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Link below. Toodles.